What is up, meal prepping nation? It's Bobby, and today we're gonna make some quick and easy healthy meal prepping with spaghetti squash. This stuff is so fall, it's so comforting, and it makes you eat a big bowl of pasta without having all those carbs and all those calories. So I hope you guys are ready for roasted spaghetti squash pesto. Oven roasted spaghetti squash, pulled and tossed with a creamy ricotta basil pesto and served with shrimp. So if you love straightforward, bomb.com meal prepping that is huge on flavor and really good for you, just subscribe to my channel. I'm rocking out new videos every Friday and I want you to be a part of them. In front of me, I have a Tom Brady football-sized spaghetti squash, Blue 42 Desi Hut. Now, this is the biggest one I've ever seen, and because I got it at Trader Joe's and they don't charge per pound, I wanted to get the biggest one because I love getting the biggest bang for my buck. Now, because Meal Prepping Sunday is all about staying in the kitchen and not going to the emergency room, and I don't want you to cut off those beautiful little digits, the safest way I know to cut this in half, just insert the knife right in the middle, and then use a rolling pin to safely tap the knife all the way through. Now, you want to scoop away all these seeds here. So use a spoon and just scoop them out. And then if you want, you can roast these seeds in an oven with some olive oil, salt, and pepper and munch on those guys while sitting on the couch watching the new season of The Walking Dead. Really good snack. I haven't watched the first episode yet, so don't tell me what happened. Now to season the squash, I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of olive oil inside, a nice pinch of salt, and a few cracks of black pepper. All right, these guys go on a sheet tray and I have the oven preheating at 400 degrees. These roast for about 65 to 70 minutes. All right, while the squash is doing its thing in the oven, we can get cracking on our pesto. I'm gonna pull out Chopper Jr. here and a bowl of basil that I definitely did not steal from my neighbor's garden. And because basil is a little expensive, I'm gonna offset that with fresh parsley. Love this stuff, and I've been doing this thing lately where I buy a big bunch from the market. As soon as I get home, I chop it up really finely. I put it into a glass ramekin and cover it with plastic wrap. Dude, this stuff stays fresh for 7 to 10 days. Then when you need it, it's already prepped. You just pinch it over food. Do this at home, you will be really, really happy. All right, in Chopper Jr., let's put a big handful of basil, or basil if you live in England, and then rip off a big handful of parsley and tuck that in too. And I need some room in Chopper Jr., so I'm gonna slap the lid on. Already, oh my God, as soon as that basil and parsley get blended, the aromas coming off of this thing are incredible. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this, but pine nuts are crazy expensive, like $22 a pound. I ain't getting a second mortgage on my condo to buy me no nuts. So instead I'm using walnuts. I actually like them better than pine nuts, and you gotta roast them in the oven. And you need about a quarter cup for this recipe. And last week, a few of you were concerned there was no zesting in the video. It was a 5-ingredient meal prep after all. Lemons was not one of them, but this week it is. So first go in with the zest of 1 small lemon and the juice of half. And then we're adding cheese later on, but I still want to add a little pinch of salt, maybe about a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, and a few cracks of pepper. And then I almost forgot, what is a pesto without fresh garlic? Now you could just take the 2 cloves and dump it in Chopper McGee here, but it won't get very pulsated. So I already have the microplane out, it's already dirty, so go ahead and just grate the garlic. That way it really gets fine and pulpy and gets blended into the pesto. Raw garlic is strong, you guys. Make sure your sweetie is eating this too, otherwise you ain't gonna get no kisses for a couple days. All right, slap the lid on and give it a buzz. And then while the machine's going, drizzle in about a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. So you want to use really high quality extra virgin olive oil for this, and I have a promo code for the Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club where they send it to your doorstep. I'll put the link down below. It is really, really high quality. The first bottle is only $1 when you use my promo code, so check that out. All right, so this is the consistency you want to see here. Everything is nicely chopped down. It's loose from the olive oil, and it smells unbelievable. All right, so now is the point when you want to add the cheese. I'm using my buddy Pecorino Romano, and a few of you guys asked last week where I get this. I buy mine at Trader Joe's, but any grocery store that has a decent cheese selection will have this. And once again, the reason why I like it is that it's cheaper than Parmesan. So go ahead and grate a few tablespoons in, and then slap on the lid to Chopper Jr. All right, this looks really good. Now, before I check for seasoning, I did say this was gonna be a creamy pesto. I love this step, okay? This is very classic in Genoa, in Italy. They take ricotta cheese and they put it in the pesto. Now the cool thing about this ricotta cheese is that it's vegan. It's actually made from almond milk. I buy it from Whole Foods, and Desi and I absolutely go gaga over this stuff. If you guys want a dairy-free alternative, give it a try. Otherwise, whole milk or low-fat ricotta works fine. I'm gonna dollop in a couple tablespoons. All right, check out this color now, you guys. Beautiful green and white, super creamy, smells righteous. Dude, that is bomb. Cheesy, nutty, creamy, just the right amount of garlic hitting me. This is done. All we have to do is wait for the squash to come out of the oven, get the shrimp in the pan, and we are done. All right, methinks the spaghetti squash is ready, but the only way to know for sure is to take your stabbing knife and give it a good poke. If the knife goes all the way down with ease, it's done. If it's still kind of tough, put it back in the oven. All right, this one is good. Now it's my favorite time of the spaghetti squash making, turning this into long strands of spaghetti. So I just take a fork and I'm just gonna rake the squash. And you start getting these beautiful long strands of spaghetti. It's the craziest squash ever, look at that. And then just scoop it into a large bowl. It smells so good. Dude, roasted squash in the fall is like a must. This is like fall staple food. And while I do the second one, I'm part of a new TV show called The Better Man. It's kind of like the Men's Health magazine of a TV show, and it's airing nationally. The first one just happened in Chicago last weekend, and I'm doing the cooking segments. So if you guys are in the US, check out the link down below in the description box. All right, I have my giant bowl of spaghetti here. I'm gonna toss it with my pesto now. So go ahead and pour a good amount of that pesto over. And a pesto sauce is one of those sauces you want to toss off the heat. So even if I made real pasta, you wouldn't want to cook it in the pan, overheat at the end. You want that pesto to be really raw and really fresh. So always toss it off the heat. If you're using real pasta, save the pasta water, put it in the bowl. It creams out the pesto and makes the pasta the bomb. All right, let me check for seasoning. The squash has a nice texture. The pesto sauce is just full of flavor, but it does need a pinch of salt because the squash is a little bland. And then while we're at it, why not a little squeeze of lemon juice to wake up the flavor. All right, pesto pasta done. I'm gonna grab the shrimp out of the fridge and we are in the home stretch. Check out my little pink Key West, Florida shrimpies. For some reason, they're pink down there. They're really sweet and delicious, but you can use any shrimp you want. I have about 1.5 pounds. I'm gonna season them with 2 teaspoons of grapeseed oil, a generous pinch of salt, and a few cracks of pepper. Now I also have a large cast iron pan preheating over medium-high heat. I'm gonna drizzle in 2 teaspoons of oil, then give the shrimp a nice mix up. Now I don't wanna overcrowd my pan because I want these shrimp to get a nice crust on there. So I'm only gonna cook half of these right now. Just put them in one even layer here, and then immediately go down with your splatter guard here. That'll prevent the oil from going everywhere and making my cleanup life a mess. Those only cook for honestly 2 minutes. We'll flip them maybe 1 and 1.5 minutes more. All right, time to get the first batch out of the pan and get the second batch of shrimp in. All right, let's get these shrimp out of the pan. And do me a favor, do not overcook your shrimp. Overcooked shrimp are rubber band-like consistency and have no flavor. And I'm only making 3 days worth of shrimp because cooked shrimp will only last in the fridge 3 days. After that, it's not safe to eat, and I don't like freezing shrimp. These cook up so quick and easily. Just make another batch again because the spaghetti squash will last for 5 days. All right, less talking, more eating. Let's make a bowl and our containers for the week. Get a nice scoop of the pesto pasta, and then a couple spoonfuls of the shrimp. You guys, the shrimps are juicy and tender. That pesto pasta is banging with flavor. The pesto sauce is just vibrant and delicious. That's it, you guys. Recipe is down below, along with storage, reheating, macros, all that good stuff, along with the equipment I used for today's video. If you want to see 2 more awesome ones, check out the video streaming below me. But I'll see you next Friday like I always do. #keep on cooking. Peace.